All right, we'll get started with Boston College. Todd Interdonato, AJ Colarusso. We'll take an opening statement first from Coach, then open it up for your questions in person. Anybody on Zoom, if you have a question, just use the raise hand tool. Coach?
Yeah, first of all, all the credit to Miami. They played a complete game. I mean, if you look at what they did from the start they got from their guy, and then, seemed like even anytime we had any kind of threat with their guys out of the pen, they were able to make pitches. I thought they played elite defense. The play they made in center, the play they made in right, turned the double play there in the eighth. I just thought they played a complete game, and I just give a ton of credit to them.
Questions?
What do you see out of the back end of Miami's bullpen, especially, after the first inning, y'all, weren't able to score runs, but their back end I thought was pretty steady. Was there something that stuck out to you?
Honestly, I think that's a great point, first of all, and I thought they were on the attack. It felt like they were in control of the at-bats the whole way. And, when this game started, our whole objective was to get in control of the game, put up the first zero, score the first run, which is what we did. But then they answered with that 4 spot in the second that gave them control of it back. And it just seemed like every guy out of the pen, even with the hit by pitch to Wang, they immediately turned the double play on the next at-bat with Toomey. I just felt like they were in control the whole time, landed multiple pitches for strikes and getting ahead.
When you look at Calera's outing, obviously you get to it pretty quick. What did you sort of see from him as the start progressed?
Yeah, we jumped him. We jumped him in the first, right? I thought Ty's at bat to grind out that 3-2 walk was really important. Then Toomey obviously drives him in after the error. Kyle jumps him for an oppo double. And then honestly, it felt like he just kept coming at us, right? So you got to give him a ton of credit. Like we jump in, we get some hard contact in the first, but then he just keeps coming at us. So he was fearless and he was more aggressive.
AJ, obviously not what you wanted, but the nice thing is you're in a different position than you have in the last couple of years when this isn't a season loss. What's the different kind of mentality there? I know obviously disappointing, but you're going to get another chance to pitch again. What's that kind of mentality like versus how different it's been in the past couple of years?
Yeah, I'm grateful we competed as hard as we did in the regular season to give us this opportunity, and I am certainly looking forward to next week, and we are too. We're just going to put our best foot forward, tomorrow and this whole week, and get ready to make some noise in a regional. That's about it.
Coach, in the last couple of years, obviously your team runs the bases like no other in the ACC, but the last 2 series, it seemed, or 3 bats last year, it's been hard for you guys to run on Miami. What's made it tough to get there and swing bats? The pitchers, the holds, is it catchers behind the plate?
Do you want my scouting report? Is that what you're asking me for?
No,
I'm just messing with you. I can pull out my scouting report out of the back pocket and hand it to you. They do a really good job. And it's the totality of it, right? There's not one thing. And, when you're able to take advantage of people on the bases, it's not one thing that opens it up. But honestly, even in our series that was down in Miami, other than Sunday, when you go back and look at it, we were playing from behind the whole weekend, right? Like we stole that game on Friday night from them, which was the opening game. And then on Sunday, we were in control and able to run a little bit. But, this kind of goes to an overall point. Like, I think JD does an amazing job with his group. I think JD does an amazing job. And for this being his 3rd year as their head coach, just how hard he gets those guys to play. They're calm, they're confident, they're very complete. I have so much respect for him.
Talking about, you guys have been without Carter and Jack here for a stretch. Obviously, Carter's been back for a second, and Jack came back today. But how important was it to get them back and ready to roll a little bit before regional, so you can have those 2 guys kind of Carter maybe those talented hitters in the lineup, but obviously Jack was one of the key bat in the lineup before you went down.
Yeah, I think, from the outside perspective, when people in any sport, right, whether it's professional, college, basketball, football, baseball, third party, they look at player X enters the lineup and they think it's a light switch and he's just back to being who he was. And that's just, our game isn't like that. And, I thought Carter's at-bats in game 3 versus Georgia Tech were the best at-bats he put up. And then I thought his at-bats today were better than the at-bats he had against Georgia Tech. Toomey, obviously today, slammed that ball through the 4-hole. I thought his at-bats were pretty good. So again, Monty, I think that's a great point, man. Getting these guys in, getting them in the face of competition, and then hopefully that will, kind of springboard them forward.
Got Brady Miller back in at the end. Feels important to sort of have him back out on the mound before, obviously, next week with Kersey comparison to the last guy.
Yeah, maybe this is like my sick and twisted way of thinking, but I actually love the fact that it started first and second, nobody out. I actually really like that because, thinking that he's going to go 7 scoreless next week is not really a thing. Like, these guys have to learn how to compete when your backs are against the wall. Like, there's no sympathy in this game. There's no mercy. So the fact that he had to compete his way out of it, I thought was the best part.
We got a couple on Zoom. Dan Rubin, go ahead, sir. Take yourself off mute.
Oh, Dan's my guy.
Hey, Coach. Looking at the totality, you mentioned that in the game, but for you, when your pitchers, even though there are 8 runs allowed, the pitchers statistically at least were hitting most of their spots with strikes. There weren't that many extra base hits outside of a couple of big knocks in the early innings. So for you, looking at the totality to get where is the focus coming in now over the next couple of days to get the bats back into it with the arms and make sure to limit the damage that maybe some of those extra base hits, the home runs might have by getting the offense going here? Where's the focus in the next couple of days as you head into selection Monday?
Yeah, we just got to continue our uphill climb, right? I mean, I thought our worst offensive game in the last handful of weeks was game 1 against Georgia Tech. And then, I feel like we've had this slow climb out of it. I think really what our offense is missing, I know everybody kind of waits for the big swing or the big hit or somebody, clearing the bases with a double. That's never been my way of thinking. My way of thinking is, can you string 2, 3, 4 really good plate appearances together? And to me, I feel like that's where we're missing, right? Our offense is predicated on aggressiveness. It's predicated on creating a rhythm, putting pressure on people. So in order for us to play at our best, we need 3, 4, 5 good plate appearances in a row. One swing, 1 home run, 1 bases clearing double. That's not who we are. We are really good 1 through 9, and that's when we're at our best.
Last one will go to Kim Rankin. Go ahead, Kim. Take yourself off of mute there.
Yeah, Coach, obviously with regionals coming up, you have a little over a week. What does the process kind of look like coming back to Boston, waiting for selection Monday, waiting to find out where you're going and getting ready to go wherever you're headed? What does that process kind of look like leading up to regionals next weekend?
Yeah, I think our focus needs to stay really sharp in practice. Just like, we were at the high school field yesterday, and kudos to Providence Day for letting us practice over there yesterday. Great facility, could not have better people, so thank you to them. But just having really heightened focus, competitive practices for a short period of time. And I think, I know nobody's in the dugout besides me and AJ, but there's a lot of anger in that dugout right now. There's a lot of angst in that dugout. There's a lot of I know you can look at the totality this year and feel really good about it, but you got 40 competitors in the dugout, kind of getting it taken to them. Like, our guys are in there pretty pissed off. I don't think I'm gonna have to motivate them to practice this week.
Hey guys, thank you. Appreciate it.